Chapter 5, A Single Second, and Fear Rewrote Everything. I mistook the ache of fear for the voice of God, and for years I called my pain obedience. The thoughts from my youth. The summer after my freshman year in high school was akin to something you would see in some coming-of-age '80s movie. Late nights of getting lost in youthful romances, long days at the rec center pool, all-nighters down in the basement of your buddy's house, only to sleep into the afternoon when either a parent woke us all up to do some chores or hunger stirred us awake. Simply, it was awesome. I finished the school year with straight A's. I fit into all the cliques that mattered. For the most part, everything seemed perfect. The same time my mom was stepping into her own for the first time, working, providing, building something steady for us. That summer would turn out to be both the best and the worst summer of my life, because beneath it all, a quiet devastation was unfolding. My brother, already struggling, already pulling away, was unraveling in ways none of us could stop. He was deemed too much, too angry, too unmanageable for my parents to handle. And so, he was sent to a children's home affiliated with the denomination we were a part of. They told us it was for his own good, that he needed structure and help. The strict culture and intense religious environment was supposed to instill discipline and obedience. It would not. To him, it was exile, abandonment, a message that he was broken and alone in it. That decision planted something deep in him, a resentment, a fracture that never fully healed. The echoes of that choice would shape the rest of his life. And another storm was coming into sight. My father was dying, and none of us knew it. His alcoholism was no longer something we could ignore. He was disappearing for days, losing jobs, sinking deeper into a cycle none of us knew how to break. My mom was trying to hold it all together, carrying both the weight of his decline and the hope of something better. That hope came in the form of a job offer in Florida. That summer after my 9th grade year and my 15th birthday, she made the hardest decision of her life. She chose to leave Colorado behind and start over. I was wrecked. That world, flawed as it was still mine. My friends, my routine, even that broken church, I didn't want to lose it. But my mom had seen what I couldn't yet name. Things in the church leadership that felt off, manipulative, even toxic. Still, she never spoke of it. Years of religious conditioning had taught her. Never question authority, never speak against the pastor. So she didn't. Not out loud. She was also silently enduring the pain of her own marriage once again crumbling as my dad was lost in another months-long binge. He wasn't there, physically or emotionally. Their marriage had collapsed again. He wasn't working, he wasn't helping, he wasn't protecting anyone. Instead, she packed us up in silence and chose a quiet escape. That day we left. I don't even know if he knew we were leaving. I hadn't seen him in days. My final memory of him still haunts me. He was face down on the living room floor, deep in a drunken stupor. I had to step over him to get out of the house. That was the last time I would ever see my dad. When we arrived in Florida, my sister, who had already moved down, pulled my mom aside. Moments later, my mom came to me with tears in her eyes and said, "We need to talk." She had asked friends and family to check in on my dad while we drove across the country. By the time they found him, he had already been dead for hours. His liver, they said, was destroyed, worn down by years of drinking. And just like that, hope shattered. Immediately, I knew and felt that fear had returned, and it wasn't alone. Depression, doubtment, isolation, loneliness, hopelessness, they all accompanied fear's return. That was the moment I learned how to shut it all off. Every emotion that forced me to face and conquer the grief to come. And I didn't shed a single tear. Not when I found out. Not at the funeral. Not even in the silence afterward. My mom and my brother looked at me like I was a broken product pulled out of its package. Like something inside me was dysfunctional or had malfunctioned. And maybe it actually had. Was I emotionally defective? Completely dead to the emotions of grief that normal people felt? I started to believe it myself. That maybe there was something wrong with me. That maybe I wasn't capable of grief or sorrow or empathy. The reality was that I had learned to compartmentalize pain, a method of coping developed early and deeply so that heartbreak got shoved into a quiet corner inside me. A survival mechanism mistaken for indifference. But it was really just fear doing what it does best, keeping me numb. Well-intended people called, reached out, tried to console me, but all I wanted was to go back. Back to Colorado, back to the routine, the rhythm, even the rot, back to that church, even with its smiling poison and polished fear. I didn't care if it wasn't perfect or healthy. I just needed to lose myself in the comfort of the familiar. There was nothing wrong with Florida. It was definitely better than Iowa, but I still hated it. Back home in Colorado, I understood the rules. I knew who to be, what to say. But in Florida, I hadn't learned the rules. I hadn't found my tribe yet. So I clung to what I could control: silence, numbness, distance. If I didn't feel, I couldn't break. I wasn't angry at God, but we were no longer on speaking terms. Fear didn't fight me, but welcomed me back like an old friend. Comfort was offered in exchange for honesty, which allowed me to postpone my grief. I hadn't just lost my dad. I had lost innocence, replaced with skepticism. After my father's death, I was drowning, miserable, depressed. I couldn't start over. I could barely get out of bed. Florida had become a wasteland of reminders of what I had lost, what was missing, what offered peace. I could have, and maybe should have, sucked it up and embraced the opportunity to mature into the man of character this struggle was trying to form me into. But I wore my misery with selfish and stubborn boldness, blind to the pain of others who were processing their own grief with dignified grace. And still, for me, her youngest boy, my mom made another impossible choice. She gave up the opportunity she had worked so hard for, the new beginning she had earned, and brought me back to Colorado. She sacrificed her fresh start for me, and I've carried that guilt ever since.